Alright, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Talos Golem here with another video, and we are in a game of Vintage once again. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Can't keep a one-lander, especially if it's city. This hand is definitely better. I think we're gonna keep this. Probably ditch the second Tezzeret. Although, I could see a case for ditching the Karn. Except, I don't think we need to do that. I think we're gonna keep this hand as is. So join me as we go along this vintage journey with the Tezzeret Shops deck. I really like this deck a lot. I think I'm gonna make a few changes to it, but this is the list that everyone's been playing. It's the list that multiple people have actually 5-0'd with in leagues. So there's that. Our opponent's gonna lead with Hedge Maze. So I wonder what kind of deck they're on. If it's the deck that I think it is, I'm not 100% sure how many decks play Hedge Maze, but I know a few blue-green decks. Alright, so I say we go Patchwork into Vexing Bauble and kind of just go easy on the Grim Monolith here. Because if we do this, if we start with Patchwork, I think that's the safest thing. If they counter this, we can Vexing Bauble, of course. But this will at least give us a counter. And something we definitely want. We definitely want counters. And I think it's right to cast this now before our opponent does something crazy. It also protects us from like Force of Will and stuff like that. Oh, they're an Oath deck. Okay. I did not expect that. I'm not sure what else what I could have been expecting. So we can do several things here. I think I'm gonna lead off with Glaring Fleshraker. Or maybe we just Tezzeret. We can't cast Glaring Fleshraker unless we cast the Grim Monolith. So let's cast the Grim Monolith. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to beat this Oath of Druids. I don't think. The other thing we could do... So we don't have... We can't cast much else with this artifact mana. Is there anything in our sideboard that we can get with Karn? Oh, Grafdigger's Cage, yes. Yes, please. Creatures, grounds, and graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Yes, that would be absolutely perfect. The beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player. Yes, so that would be the answer, I guess. That would be the imperative, I guess you could say imperative. Okay, and they can't force this because of the Vexing Bauble. So we're gonna -2 this. Yes. Gonna get Grafdigger's Cage. Cast the Grafdigger's Cage off of the artifact mana. Get a counter here. And can't do much else. I don't want to sacrifice the Vexing Bauble. So we're just gonna attack here. Swing for 4. Still can't cast any of our things. I don't think that this works off of Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, it doesn't actually work. So they're gonna find something with Mystical Tutor. That's fine. Into the Flood Maw. Okay. Honestly, probably just get another Grafdigger's Cage. Like we can't cast anything in our hand. And we want to do this main phase 1. Pretty sure, let me just look up what Into the Flood mod does. I think it only returns like one thing. Into the Flood Maw. I just want to read what it does real quick. Gift a tapped fish, turn our creature opponent controls. Said turn our gauntlet opponent controls to us. So it only bounces one thing. So we can get another Grafdigger's Cage. So we'll get our second Grafdigger's Cage. That way we protect ourselves a little more. This triggers off of this. That way they will have to find 2 answers. I think that's our best shot. And then we'll just swing. There's not much else we can do here. I mean, that helps address the Into the Flood Maw issue, but they might have some other stuff cooking. All right, getting rid of the Mishra's Workshop doesn't do a whole lot against us right now because we're looking for other types of mana. Although that did hurt a little bit when we couldn't do that. So I'm not gonna just until your next turn up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its mana value. I don't really love the idea of making my Vexing Bauble into a creature. So I'm just gonna deal 0. Well, actually, because this wins us, this makes us win in 1 turn. No, I'm just gonna do this. Just plus it for now. Because I think they have, my hunch is they have some way to get rid of creatures. And I just don't want them to risk getting rid of one of my important pieces here. So we're just going to have to find more mana. They can't pitch, they actually can't crack the fetch if we do it like this. If they don't want us to win in 2 turns. So we're actually in a good spot. We're actually not in a terrible spot here. All right. Yeah, just F6. Well, let's not F6 just yet because we might want to crack the bauble. You never know. Okay. It would help a lot if we can get game 1 here, because then we would be able to have one more shot winning a game before we win the match. All right, they're gonna crack the fetch, so we really didn't need to animate the Vexing Bauble. They're gonna DT here, okay. Let's see what they get here. Okay. All right, still nothing crazy. Well, they're gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of Patchwork without getting rid of the ward. So I guess I'm just gonna attack. And plus, no, let's just attack. Okay, cool. It's game 2 against Oath. I'm gonna bring in both Grafdigger's Cages in main deck because it's better to do that than to. I think it's better to do that than to rely on Karn. The other thing we could do is, I guess we don't really need Karn then, right? We can cut Karn. I don't think we need Chalice unless there's a good enough reason to do that sort of thing. I think Vexing Bubble's fine. Chalice only really stops like Mox. Vexing Bubble's way better for like Force of Will shenanigans. So we cut the Karn. What else do we want to cut here? If we want to go to 60 cards, maybe a Key, because we already have a bunch of 1 mana stuff. And key might just be better. Having 2 keys might just be good enough. Grim Monolith also was good in that game, but honestly would have been nice to have more. So let's just cut the Manifold Key. And I mean, One Ring is also very slow. I feel like One Ring is kind of slowish. We can cut a One Ring, because that's like another high CMC thing that we're just not going to be able to get to, I think. Rather have a key than no key. Okay, let's see how we do. I remain hopeful. All right. This is probably a keep. It doesn't really solve any of our issues. But we have Tezzeret. We can get Grafdigger's Cage. So let's do that. We're going to keep this and hopefully we can find something. Hopefully Tezzeret resolves and we can get like, oof, this is gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough game. we might not even have we might not be able to have a turn 2. Yeah, that's what I thought. 5 cards in hand, access to 5 mana. Okay, it's gonna pass here. Maybe you have Force of Will. Ooh, okay, that's something. That is definitely something. We have the key combo. If we want that, I think we do. I think we want to go for it because otherwise our opponent's gonna. Oh well, they don't have. So they technically don't have it just yet. Let's do this. Let's just go for it. Rather resolve the Time Vault first. Well, if they counter the Manifold Key first, then we can lead with the Time Vault and then Tezzeret next turn. So I like that a lot better than the alternative. Yeah. This gets us 3. Yeah, let's do that. Makes it seem like we're playing around Spell Pierce or something. All right. Let's see if this resolves. All right, they're gonna respond, which is fine because we can still go Tezzeret. Yeah, that's fine. That's actually okay. Oops. We're gonna untap the Grim Monolith here. And let's just, I guess we gotta find ourselves a Grafdigger's Cage. They technically can't cast Grafdigger's Cage. They can't technically cast Oath yet. But I still think it's right to cast Grafdigger's Cage. I still think it's right to get Grafdigger's Cage. We could also get Vexing Bauble, but I haven't seen Force of Will from them. I think we do want Grafdigger's Cage. Just pass the turn. We can go Glaring Fleshraker next turn and then Grafdigger's Cage later on. We can untap the Grim Monolith with Mox or whatever mana we have. We don't really need to play the Talon Gates. We can also just like, oh, that's even better actually. I like that. All right, let's untap. Ooh, actually, we don't even have to do this. Let's untap this. I hope that wasn't a mistake. Don't think it was. No, it wasn't, because we're only going to be able to cast 2 artifacts here, and that's going to mean that Tezzeret only triggers twice, so we would have to use 0 mana anyway. Actually, let's cast what they already know. We have F6 here. We're low on time, but I think that's okay. And then let's go here, play the Mana Vault. And then spend our last mana to untap. The Grim Monolith. So we really don't need to play Talon Gates as a land. We have so much stuff anyway. It doesn't really matter. We could hold this up to like phase out something. Okay. We gotta be on our A game. Nature's Claim the Grafdigger's Cage? Sure. I don't care too much about that. Especially when they don't even have Oath yet, so they'd have to wait. I have another turn to basically survive. Into the Flood Moss, sure. That means I get to recast it next turn, and it won't just go, it won't die? Absolutely. Sign me up for that. Okay, they're gonna stock up here. That's fine. Let's see what we can do here. Yep, that's what I thought. This will trigger off of Tezzeret, which is nice. Okay, we're just gonna always yield to this. All right, let's cast the Tezzeret. I don't know what they have in their hand, but it's not a counter. It's not something that can counter anything. Get our second Grafter's Cage. Actually, let's sure, why not? Let's just untap this. Actually, hold on a second. What do I want to do here? I want to untap this. Let's just tap the Grim Monolith again. Cast this again. So we have 2. And then we can also just flash in Talon Gates later on. We're gonna swing for, how much is this? 5? They're on a clock. They're definitely on a clock. All right, so they're gonna they did surveil with the hedge maze. I don't know what they got off of this. I think they kept it on top. Whatever it was that it's too high up. I'm not gonna bother checking. I don't think that they have it though. Okay, let's say no to this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to cast Patchwork, because that's going to trigger Glaring Fleshraker, and it's also going to trigger Tezzeret, which means Tezzeret won't get removed next turn if we. Okay. Let's search our library for something here. Guess we search for Vexing Bauble. I don't know, because they can just cast whatever. Another key, perhaps. Maybe Sensei's Top. Let's get Sensei's Top. All right, cool. We won the match. Let's go. So we're doing better at this game. I do just want to say thanks for watching. Really, I mean, I've always wanted to get back into Vintage. I've wanted to start creating more Magic content, and it's nice that I'm able to do this alongside the Pokemon stuff that I have on the other channel. I am still going to make some Pokemon videos here. Probably not going to be TCG Pocket videos, but more like, you know, the actual video game. But that's going to be a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.